Well, congratulations, everybody. We did it. We made it to $4 gas. I mean, that was the goal, right?
It might be a good idea to go ahead and fill up and get some extra this weekend.
This is how I know that Kamala really lost the election in 2024 and that Trump really did win, because it's the gas prices that are setting people off right now.
Can anyone explain why gas is running out so quick? Like, we already have gas going up.
Bro, gas is damn near $6 in LA. I am not going anywhere.
If you could pick one word to describe the state of the economy right now, what would that one word be?
All f***ed up.
Can anyone explain why gas is running out so quick? Like, we already have gas going up in price. So gas is extremely, ridiculously priced right now. But then gas is also running out very fast. And it's not just like people are, we're noticing. Multiple people in different states, different cities are all saying the same thing, that they feel like their gas is finishing quicker than usual. Someone actually did a video on here where they showed that they didn't even move, I think, a mile, and they lost 4 miles worth of gas. What's going on? Why does it seem to be that the gas is running out so much quicker, even though it costs more? What is the difference with the gas we're paying for right now? Like, is it water? Someone said they might be using ethanol that makes it burn faster. I don't know how gas works. I just know that it feels like the gas is going faster, even though you're paying more money for it. Which seems to be a common theme in this country, where we pay more money for things, even though they're worse quality. Because gas is running out like it got somewhere to be. Meanwhile, I'm using the gas because I got somewhere to be. What's going on?
Everyone's been complaining about gas prices, but have you been paying attention to your mileage? This man was driving through his neighborhood when he noticed something and was then able to catch it on camera. Because as he was driving, he was noticing that his gas mileage was dropping significantly, starting at around 352 miles per gallon left. As he's driving between 15 to 30 miles per hour through his neighborhood, steadily watching this go down. This man was only driving a few yards and was losing miles from his gas tank, questioning if he had filled up with gas that was actually water. As having only driven a few blocks, his gas tank looked as if he had already driven over 10 miles. Looking just in the span of less than 1 minute, he went from 352 miles per gallon, ending the video with only 348 miles left, meaning he burned the gas that he should have burned driving 4 miles in less than 2 city blocks. What is this exactly that would cause the gas mileage to literally plummet when you are driving a slow and steady speed through a neighborhood? I was always under the belief that if you got watered down gas and your engine would sputter and make noises as if it wasn't getting that consistent gas flow, this car was driving steady with no issues, except that this car was burning through the kind of fuel traveling feet that it should have been burning.
Bro, gas is damn near $6 in LA. I am not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Don't invite me out. Don't tell me to meet you somewhere. I'm not going anywhere. Gas is high. Can someone please tell Iran we don't know that man? Please. Because this is ridiculous. Yeah.
All right, gas prices, we're talking about them. I'm at the Sunoco at Delaware and Amherst, and it's going to run you about $3.99 per gallon, and it's not much better at the Speedway across the street. It's about exactly the same price. And I spoke to an economist about these rising gas costs and when we might see a break. He says it might get worse before it gets better.
The sooner that the Strait of Hormuz could open up, the better. So much of the oil exports travel through that strait, and it's nearly a fifth of oil exports. So prices are naturally going to rise, and so the quicker this can be resolved, the better. It'll get prices down, but it still will take a while for us to kind of feel it get back to normal.
Yeah, no one wants to be touching one of these guys right now. And I spoke to Herman, a customer at this gas station. Here's what he had to say.
It's alarming and scary because they're going to get higher. I was just telling my wife that maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago it was under $3, and I'm like, now we're planning trips and things of that nature. You have to add those into your budget, and then it also makes a decision if you want to do certain things.
Okay, we're about to talk numbers, so I'm going to sit down for this one. Average for gas prices right now in New York State, it's about $3.92, and in the Buffalo Niagara region, it's actually a little better. It's about $3.88 per gallon. All of a sudden, biking to work might not sound that bad. But in all seriousness, speaking to people here at the gas station, budgeting, that's really all folks can do right now because they say they need their cars. They need to be able to go to places like work.
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and today I want to show you what gas prices are for regular unleaded, and then I want to show you diesel. This is regular in Las Vegas today, March 30th. This is diesel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now listen to this.
Quote, take the oil in Iran and could seize Karg Island. That's near its highest level since the start of the war. And some analysts are concerned that oil could hit $200 a barrel, which would push gas prices toward, get this, $7 a gallon.
$116 a barrel is how much crude oil went for today. Keep in mind, we're not just going to pay higher gas prices. We're going to pay more for everything. Anything that gets delivered to a store is going to come from that $6 a gallon diesel for trucks. I already did a post about the post office increasing their prices 8% for a fuel surcharge. Airline tickets have gone up 20%. We are in for big, big problems. People were already not affording the cost of living. If you found this post sad but informative, please like, comment, follow, and share. I keep you up to date on the economy and economic news.
It's a 5-alarm fire for the Trump administration, and I love every second of it. Gas prices are now over $4 a gallon nationwide on average and are expected to keep rising, which, by the way, is going to increase the cost of everything else for every single American, whether you voted red, blue, or didn't vote at all. The cost to transport food and goods, the cost to make goods is also going to go up because oil prices continue to rise. And Trump's approval rating is at about 33% now, which even Megyn Kelly herself said it is a 5-alarm fire for Republicans, and she's not wrong. If this keeps up for the midterms, they're going to get absolutely demolished. And when I say demolished, I don't just mean kind of demolished, I mean literally obliterated. The phrase people vote with their wallets is true, and that could very well be the deciding factor even for hardcore MAGA supporters this November, because if they can't afford to drive to work, put food on the table, pay their utility bills, that's not going to bode too well for people who still support this administration. So you are either going to see a lot of Republican members of Congress suddenly flip on their dear leader, or it's going to be a blue tsunami.
If you're an American who buys gas, you'll probably find this super relatable. But, so the gas prices haven't gone up at all. I don't know about you, but I'm still paying like $20 to $25 per tank. However, my gas tank does now have as much air in it as a bag of Lay's. So that's kind of weird.
If you could pick one word to describe the state of the economy right now, what would that one word be?
All fucked up. All fucked up.
That was a diehard Trump supporter here in Florida at this gas station after he filled up his tank at the price of $4.29 per gallon. Gas, just one of the expenses that's skyrocketing as the war in Iran continues with no end in sight.
It's crazy, bro. Right now I'm paying $2,600 a month for my rent. You know what I mean? And that ain't no bills included. You know what I mean? Like, this is really, 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 really hard. My wife's about to be pregnant. She's due in about next week. And it is extremely difficult.
We spent all day asking Floridians to describe the state of the economy in just one word. The reviews are in, and they're brutal. If you could pick one word to describe the state of today's economy, what would that word be?
A tragedy. Sad. Disappointing.
It's not the way it used to be. I don't know, man. It's like survival right now. Everybody on survival mood right now.
Desolate, man. It's bad.
Now, while some of President Trump's most ardent supporters say that they're willing to put up with these crazy high prices and are in support of this war in Iran,
we voted for him to be, like we say in Spanish, somebody with cojones, you know what I'm saying, with some balls to get in there and be daddy. Take the belt, put everything in action, because now you can see that we are respected across the world again, right?
Most of the people we spoke to say they wish President Trump was focusing on issues back here at home as they struggle to make ends meet.
I struggle every day, and now I'm taking care of my mom who's older, being denied simple things like breathing meds. So gas, What are you going to do? So I don't eat this week because I have to take mom to the doctor's tomorrow. And I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people in the same situation, homeless, no place to go, no shelters, no food, no medical.
All of this as gas prices continue to rise as the war in Iran spills into its second month.
It might be a good idea to go ahead and fill up and get some extra this weekend because the Brent crude oil price just hit $112 a barrel, and we are going into another weekend where most things tend to happen on the weekends when the markets are closed, and Chinese ships were just turned away from the Strait of Hormuz, even though technically people are saying that it's open, but it seems like things are gearing up to not stabilize, and just might be a good idea for you to get some things before they get even higher, and that would probably hit us about Monday, if not even sooner than tomorrow. I mean, they're even spelling it out for us. It even says that they are said to intensify strikes, and I'm sure it's not going to be on any infrastructure that's needed, right? I would definitely go fill up.
$4 a gallon. Well, technically, the average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in this country today is $4.02 a gallon. That's $1.04 more than it was before this war with Iran started, and it is the first time we've seen $4 gas since 2022. The average for a gallon of diesel is $5.45. That is $1.69 more than last month. And that means we should all probably be bracing ourselves because prices for everything that has to travel by truck, like food and goods, is probably going to get more expensive. On top of that, jet fuel is also skyrocketing, which is probably going to impact the cost of your next plane ride. And of course, going to impact the cost of everything that has to travel by plane. Of course, these spiking gas, diesel, and jet fuel prices are all happening because of the war with Iran, and they probably won't stop going up until the Strait of Hormuz is reopened. But today, President Trump just basically told our allies, you do it. We're over it. He posted, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and just take it, meaning oil. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. That's an interesting take, given that it was the United States and Israel that started this war with Iran, which then led to Iran doing exactly what many people expected Iran would do, which is choke off the Strait of Hormuz and a ton of the global oil supply. And now the US is saying to our allies, good luck. You fix it. You fix what we started. And then Trump threw in an insult there just to add some flavor. Now I'm going to talk about why this kind of tone with our allies is something we should all be paying attention to in a second. But first I want to talk about the Strait of Hormuz specifically, because the president is justifying this idea of passing off the security of the strait to our allies because Trump keeps claiming the United States doesn't need oil from the Strait of Hormuz, so it's not our problem if it's closed or if it stays closed. But I'm telling you, while it's true, we don't get a lot of our oil from the Strait. It absolutely is our problem if it stays closed. Now, I don't know how many more times I have to say it, but oil is a global commodity. Therefore, when there are disruptions in one part of the world when it comes to oil, that impacts oil prices for the entire world, including the United States. Don't believe me? Look at the gas prices. They keep going up, right? And it's because of this war with Iran and because the strait remains closed, which is causing a major global oil disruption. Think logically. If Trump's claim is true and the oil from the strait is irrelevant to us in the United States, then why are our gas prices continuing to go up? As you noodle that one, let's take it a step further. What do you think global oil prices are going to look like if the United States just claims victory, walks away from this war with Iran, and doesn't secure and reopen the Strait of Hormuz? Well, I can show you a picture of what's been happening. This is from the International Monetary Fund. This is a chart of the volume of tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. That is what happened right after the war started. Do you see that dramatic drop-off in ships going through the strait? If the strait remains closed, that's going to continue to stay low, which then is going to continue to drive up oil prices. The IMF wrote in this blog post, although the war could shape the global economy in different ways, all roads lead to higher prices and slower growth. A short conflict might send oil and gas prices soaring before markets adjust, while a long one could keep energy expensive and strain countries that rely on imports. Now, let's talk real quickly about this tone the president is taking with our allies. The fact is, as I have reported repeatedly, NATO is a defensive alliance. NATO springs into action when one of its members is attacked, not when one of its members decides to launch a war. On top of that, if a NATO ally wants to go on the offensive, the rest of the NATO allies are usually, not always, but usually consulted before the strike happens. None of that applies to what President Trump and Israel did in Iran. But it's up to you to decide how you feel about Trump's language towards our allies. But I will remind you, as you're trying to think that through, having allies in this dangerous world is pretty important, and it takes years and years to build trust and gain allies. It doesn't happen overnight, but tearing down alliances, that happens pretty quickly and may not be repairable. Just something to think about.
This is how I know that Kamala really lost the election in 2024 and that Trump really did win, because it's the gas prices that are setting people off right now. It's the gas prices that are hitting their wallets, their everyday lives, where they're like, maybe Trump was a bad idea. I know that people were willing to throw other people under the bus for a couple of bucks. Or maybe some stimulus check that they thought that they were going to get, some bailout, something like that. They thought that Trump was going to do that for them, and they were willing to allow women to bleed out in hospital parking lots. They were willing to see their neighbors deported. They were willing to see all of it, gay rights being taken away, whatever it was, it didn't matter to them as long as they got a few dollars. As long as they got a few dollars. And now that they're not getting a few dollars, they're upset. And I have, even recently somebody said to me, oh, well, Trump didn't really win the election. I'm like, for the last 2 years now, I have been watching a lot of content from people, and I am sure that he really did win. The more time has passed, I know this. I know that people thought that they were going to get a couple of dollars, and they were willing to throw people under the bus for a few dollars. And now that they're not getting the few dollars, they are more upset with Trump. They're seeing their communities get ripped apart. They're like, oh, well, if you're going to rip apart our communities or deport my friends, neighbors, and family, I still need that money, bro. And now you're not giving me the money. So now I'm upset. This is America. When people say this is not who we are, this is exactly who we are.
So I used to be that friend that said, you don't need to give me any gas money. You good. I got you. But now I'm going to need that. Yeah. Once you ask me for a ride, I'm going to ask you how much you got on the tank. Yeah, 10 minimum. The prices is going up and the gas is getting ran through quicker than my last relationship. So I'm going to need that. Thank you.
We're about to be in April and gas prices have not gotten any better. National average for a price of gas now sits at $4.06 per gallon. That's up $1.04 more than the past several weeks and 90 cents higher than what gas prices were a year ago. And if things don't get better anytime soon, it's going to get worse. The Lombard survey shows that gas prices could average as high as $5.25 per gallon by April. Raise your hand if it's been very painful to fill your tank lately. Sometimes I don't even fill my tank. I just get it $20, $22 and I stop. Let me know in the comments how much the gas prices rising has impacted you.
Problems at the pump? You're not alone. Gas prices are up, and here at the Phillips 66 gas station in Soundview, people are feeling the pain in their pockets.
I can't even fill my tank up. I can't. It's hard out here. It's expensive today.
Christian Estevez says he drives to Pennsylvania 3 times a week to visit family. Those trips now becoming more of a hassle.
With the prices like this, I won't be driving.
Pablo Diaz drives to Connecticut every day, but may have to stop because the gas is too expensive. According to AAA, the average price of a gallon of regular gas in New York City is about $3.94. That's about a cent higher than last week, but compared to last month, it's almost a full $1 higher now. The war in Iran causing prices to go up, impacting people and businesses like Elite Lux Car Service.
I don't want my prices to go up to inconvenience the clients.
but it does hurt my business.
It's spring break season, and crazy long TSA lines may have people rethinking travel. We asked people if they rather wait for hours at the airport or have to pay high gas prices and drive.
Pick your poison. I'd rather drive. I like the scenic route.
I'd rather wait. Sleep it out and wait. Nothing. America's a scam right now.
The president claims progress in talks to end the war in Iran. But if negotiations fail, the cost at the pump will remain in limbo. In Soundview, Lindsay Tanney, News 12 The Bronx.
Well, congratulations, everybody. We did it. We made it to $4 gas. I mean, that was the goal, right? Because when we said when Donald Trump goes into Iran, it's going to raise gas prices, that's exactly what we said was going to happen. And we've gotten to $4. So this is part of the plan, right? And I assume all you MAGAs are really, really angry at President Trump because you were really, really angry at Joe Biden when gas prices were that high in 2022 when we were coming out of a pandemic and there was a massive surge on demand, which naturally would raise prices, which is a lot different from a war of, I guess, because we want to, we don't know why, it's causing gas prices to spike like this. All Donald Trump has done is raise prices since he's become president. The tariffs, a giant tax on poor and working class Americans. I think the average is like $1,700 everybody's owed for those illegal tariffs. And now we've launched a war in Iran, of which has already cost like $15 billion, at least 13 American lives, hundreds of people injured on our side. And now they're asking for $2 billion more to fight this war that we don't know why we're in it, all while saying we can't afford SNAP benefits for poor people to eat. I'm not sure that there's another group of people on earth who have voted against their interests as much as the non-billionaire MAGAs have. You guys have higher prices. You have worse job market. We're now in a war that's going to cost billions and billions of dollars. Nothing has gotten better, and things have gotten more expensive, including gas at $4. So yeah, guys, Donald Trump played you, and you keep backing him up. Why?
Gas prices are up because of what's happening in Iran. That's bad. But when it ends, and it will end, even just talk about it ending will reduce oil prices and bring the price of gas back down. So that's good, right? Yeah, it's good, but it's not good politically necessarily. Why? Because none of this was necessary. And the administration still has to make the case to voters in the midterms that it decided to, back burner all of these affordability issues and everything that was supposed to be about make America first and fix America first, which is what I think the opportunity space is in our politics right now. And you didn't do that, and we're not even sure why. Well, because the regime is bad and we had to degrade them. But you had to do it this way by now going to what is recognized as a war and putting all these troops in the region, and you may not even change the regime. Why did we need to suffer? Are we going to get this money back? It's kind of like the tariffs. Oh, they were found to be illegal. Who's getting their money back? Where's that tariff money? How come it's not getting returned? Why aren't they even talking about it? So the idea that, well, it can be fixed. The oil prices, gas prices, they go up, they go down, and it'll be fine. It's not fine because we're paying more when people don't have money to pay more. And they're not going to get that money back. So be aware of the game. Be different. Don't be some pack animal that just swallows whatever some party tells you. And just because you voted for Trump, you've got to make everything he does and says okay, even when you know it's not okay. Okay?
Man, this is wild. Bro, I just paid $3.65 for gas to put in my car, man. And I know some states is extremely higher than $3.65. But out here, where I'm at, we used to paying like $2.35, $2.50. And this is one of the reasons why I moved out to Texas in the first place, because of the low gas prices and the way that they do their taxes out here, sales taxes. But this gas price right here, man, it's got me wanting to just start walking everywhere I go. It's like literally, I know I'm not flying because these airplanes, the stuff that's going on in the skies, even on the runways, it's spooky. But it's like when it comes to the gas prices, you better off just walking everywhere you go. So I guess it's going to be a whole bunch of skinny people because I do see a lot of people walking I hardly really see people in my area driving. I mean, I went down the street today, man, and I ran into a few spider webs. I'm just joking, but that's just like a metaphor of saying, like, how many people really aren't driving that much. Imagine if you got a V8, a SUV, and you got to go to work. And you got to fill that bad boy up, and you got to drive 50 minutes to work, and then 50 minutes back home in traffic. Heck, half of your paycheck, if not all of it, is just spent on gas. So now you're only going to work just to pay for gas. That's how high these gas prices are. What about groceries, bills, utilities, mortgage, rent? We working just to buy gas. It's time to get a job close to home, or get a bicycle, or start walking, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think of these high gas prices, and thanks for watching.
Gas prices are way too high, and this is because we have a crazy president that is getting the United States into unauthorized wars. This is unacceptable, and I know that Nevadans are really suffering sticker shock at the pump. This is affecting people's monthly budgets right now, and what makes it worse is that in Nevada, we tax you even more at the pump. We have some of the highest gas taxes in the United States. And as governor, I want to see how we can ensure that everyone is paying their fair share and that everyday Nevadans are not footing the bill for our transportation costs. Right now, we don't even charge EVs that Amazon is driving around in your neighborhood to pay for our roads. So why are you paying? And I'll tell you what, our governor is leaving money on the table for EV charging as well. So Nevadans who choose to buy EVs do not have charging infrastructure that our last administration actually gave each state through the Infrastructure Act to ensure that you have charging facilities throughout your communities. This is something that I heard at the doors yesterday. I don't know where to go to charge up my EV around town. So not only did we lose money for that charging infrastructure, they're not even spending the money that we have today. So we need better leadership in Nevada to ensure that your costs can come down and that folks who choose to invest in EVs have EV charging. And that's what I want to bring as Nevada's next governor.